Hey everybody, I'm back again. Yes, I know it seems soon because thank God I finally got my previous video edited. I had to chop it up. It must have taken me 3 times to get that video up on YouTube. Thank the Lord, it's finally up. And now I have more news about the cases of Stephan Sterns, the guy in Florida who's accused of doing away with his girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter, Madeline Soto, and just how much money the state's attorney is saying it could cost for just a portion of the new discovery. Just a portion, not even the entire discovery. We are talking potentially more than $11,250. That's the estimate. I'm going to read it to you. That's what the YouTuber named The Docket received recently. But first and foremost, I want to tell you this is not a fundraising video. I'm not asking for any money for anything. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this information I just learned about the estimated cost being more than $11,000 for public records in Stephan Sterns' case. At first I was thinking, can they break it down piecemeal? And there is a way they can potentially do that, but I don't even know if I'm going to request an invoice for a smaller amount that they did offer, because I don't want to pay $450 and end up with some redacted, nearly all black type of PDF. The stuff that the government used to issue, you know, when people wanted to find out what happened to JFK or stuff like that. But let me tell you, the Docket on YouTube and we've put in a multitudinous amount of FOIAs in the cases of Stephan Sterns. But the video you might have seen me publish right before this took me several tries. That one was about all the information we had received, and we haven't even received all the videos. The day after Stephan Sterns was arrested, he was arrested on February 28th, late that night or into the early evening hours, whatever. By that Thursday, February 29th, cops were going over to Madeline's middle school to interview a counselor, several teachers, and such. There should be at least 7 total interviews. I thought we were missing 2. We are actually still missing 1. I've been going back and forth with these cops so much because it was so confusing. Some of the way they were given to us, the interviews, the way they were zipped up with other things, kind of like no organization. Anyway, I found the missing one, which was number 6. I put that interview at the end of my previous video. Now we're still missing interview number 7, and the cops realized, they finally admitted, yeah, we didn't give that to you. It hasn't been reviewed for redactions. What I've been doing is, you know, we've been going through with a fine-tooth comb, seeing what we're missing, seeing what's out there, you know, what's in discovery, what we don't have, what we do have. So this woman's name from the school, she's in the PDFs with a description of her interview, but I painstakingly went through all the audio files that I already have. You know, it takes a long time to download some of these zip files. Some of them I couldn't even get downloaded on my MacBook. I had to do it on my iPhone. Some of them are more than 10 gigabytes. So it took a long time. Some of it wouldn't really work over Wi-Fi. It worked better downloading over, you know, the cell connection. Anyway, I painstakingly went through all those files, realized I was missing at least 1 school interview we have not heard yet. I FOIA'd police to receive that missing audio interview, and I received this reply yesterday, quote, "That interview was not reviewed for redactions. When I get to your request, I will have to get with the detective. I cannot give you a time frame," this person wrote, "as we have many requests ahead of yours." Thankfully, at least that person admitted we were missing the interview. I know we're still missing cop number 2's body cam interview from the Orange County Sheriff's Office that night. Stephan Sterns and Jennifer Soto was standing in her mother's office, you know, talking, and one cop walked out, one cop stayed in briefly. It's probably only about a minute's worth of audio we're missing when both of the officers weren't in the room, but I definitely know we're still missing it. But I'm definitely being told repeatedly, nope, you have everything, nope, you have everything, and I'm not trying to be a bugaboo. I'm just trying to do due diligence to this case to get the actual information. Anyway, at least they admitted we're missing the school interview. So when the records person gets me that interview, I don't know if they'll charge me a nominal fee, anything, nothing, or whatever. However, we'll go over it then. But to get more of this information that's constantly flowing into the cases of Sterns, he has 2 cases technically open. One's the big case. I have to be so careful, I think now. I hate saying stuff like unaliving. It sounds so stupid to me. but with YouTube censorship being what it is, I feel like I need to be more careful. So one was a huge case, one is the horrible case. They're both horrible, but one is the huge unaliving case, one is the nasty essay case. So in order to get more of the information about these cases, we're going to have to pony up plenty of money that instead I should be paying to the IRS just to potentially receive paperwork that could be full of redactions. But let me show you what I mean. And anyone can do this to verify what I'm saying. So if you visit the Osceola Clerk's website in Florida, it's located at courts.osceolaclerk.com, and you can search for Sterns, Stephan. You'll see his 2 open cases. So one is that big capital unaliving case, 2024 CF 001293, State of Florida versus Sterns, Stephan Michael. So if you scroll down to the case dockets, you'll see stuff like notice of supplemental discovery and notice of provision of state's amended witness list, all this stuff and more info. And if you click on the image in each entry that allows you to do so, it'll provide you with more information about that listing, what's exactly been turned over. Now click again on Sterns' name, highlighted name, and choose his other disturbing case, 2024 CF 000632, State of Florida versus Sterns, Stephan Michael. So scrolling down to the case dockets as of this recording, you'll see stuff like a notice of provision of discovery, which notes, and I quote, comes now the State of Florida by and through the undersigned Assistant State Attorney, and gives notice that copies of the below listed were mailed on November 19th, 2024. This is where it's getting interesting. This is where that $11,000 plus charge estimate is coming from. Digital media number 2, disc containing Excel spreadsheet of the defendant's phone redacted. Okay, we don't have much info about this Excel spreadsheet until we see what they told the docket. Now, wouldn't it be interesting to see that digital media and that disk containing the Excel spreadsheet of the defendant's phone redacted, as long as it's nothing gross? What if that Excel spreadsheet contains Stephan's text messages to Maddie and Jennifer, stuff we've never seen since they were able to, thank the Lord, recover what he tried to erase? What if that digital media reveals more about his movements in and around the time Maddie disappeared? What if it describes the horrific stuff found on his phone, like we've seen some of that described, not in an Excel spreadsheet, but in some of the PDFs we've seen different dates and the horrible actions Stephan has done to Maddie? What if it details any recovered text messages or more incriminating stuff that viewers like you and me were all chomping at the bit to discuss? We're dissecting this case. We're figuring out what truly happened to this victim. Why did Stephan do the things he did? What exactly did Jennifer know? What didn't she know? So this is why we FOIA this stuff. It's public record. So that same case also shows a previous notice of provision of discovery. Comes now the State of Florida by and through the undersigned Assistant State Attorney, and gives notice that copies of the below listed were mailed on July 16th, 2024. Copy of digital media number 7, 1 DVD containing jail calls from May 20th to July 1st, 2024. Now, as of this filming, we've only heard one of Stephan's jail calls. He was calling his mom and dad, and that was dated incorrectly at one point, but the file name had the correct date on it. It was confusing, but we figured it out. It was after his mom's birthday. It was after Mother's Day, so that's why Stephan got on the phone saying, "Happy belated Mother's Day, happy belated birthday, Mom." And so all these events had passed. He talked about having the world's crappiest birthday, and we know Stephan's birthday was April 26th, so he turned 38. So we could kind of glean, we could kind of figure out, okay, this was from a point in May. But the other calls should be forthcoming. I mean, we're getting updates about that too. The thing is, I don't know how staffed or understaffed they are down there, but they do have to go through and listen, and redact and take out. I don't know if they'll still take out Maddie's name. I don't know what other information they'll take out. I understand it takes time. I know from editing. Also, in that same case's docket, you'll see a notice of provision of discovery. Once again, comes now the state of Florida by and through the undersigned state attorney and gives notice that copies of the below listed were mailed on June 11th, 2024. So some of this stuff, or all of it, we might have already seen. Digital media number 1, defendant interview. So we've seen a lot of Stephan Sterns' interviews. Mainly we've heard a lot of his audio. Some of it surreptitiously recorded where he didn't know he was being recorded, most likely those first day or two after Maddie was reported missing, the day of. But then by Wednesday, we got that one seriously long video interview. Pretty much the only video interview of Stephan, not including his transport videos. There was one on March 1st. There's a different one that doesn't show his face, and he doesn't talk much during that transport after he's arrested on February 28th. So I think we may have seen all of Stephan's interviews, perhaps. Jennifer Soto's interviews, we may have gotten all of those. That's what's listed. Photographs taken during the search warrant for the residence. Yes, photos of the condo, we've seen that. Photographs during the search warrant of the defendant. Yes, we've seen those with him and the altogether Stephan ill. And might I say I was incorrect in listening to someone who saw the photos and told me that Stephan may have had an extra member or something. I didn't want to look at them. And then I finally looked at the photos of Stephan's junk, and it wasn't. It was just the way they were manipulating it, and they were just like doing all sorts of things that made it look weird. But I shouldn't have said that. I should have just looked at the stuff myself and just explained it to you. But in another notice of supplemental discovery, we see the undersigned assistant state attorney and hereby makes the following information available to the defense and states as follows. This is more recently. Pages 72 through 75, Madeline Soto birth certificate and death certificate. Copies of items listed will be provided under separate cover. Now, I assume we might see Maddie's birth certificate eventually, but perhaps not her death certificate. I'm not sure. She is a minor, and as I understand it, certain things we are not supposed to see. However, they have released other information about Maddie's demise, like in the previous PDFs released. It says, on March 2nd, 2024, at approximately 10 a.m., Detective Smallwood and I responded to the medical examiner's office for Madeline's autopsy. It was performed by Dr. Stephan Giles. Isn't that ironic? His name is Stephan. Prior to the autopsy, I examined Madeline's body. When it was initially uncovered, I noticed her socks were clean on the bottom, which confirmed my observations when she was located in St. Cloud. During the autopsy, Dr. Giles expressed concern over the hyoid bone, which is somewhere up here in Madeline's neck. Dr. Giles stated the right portion of the bone was not intact. He initially wrote, which could possibly be related to her being strangled. Dr. Giles listed the initial outcome of the autopsy as pending. And then later it says, on March 29th, I received the case synopsis from the medical examiner's office. Dr. Giles ruled the cause of death as strangulation and the manner of death is homicide. So isn't it crazy in Jennifer's interview that she predicted pretty much what Stephan had done to Maddie? She was like, I don't know how else he could have done it. He must have basically strangled her. Something quiet, and how did he do this, without my roommates hearing anything? I don't know, the stuff she says is strange. I'm still wondering how Stephan carried Madeline out of the house. Was a dog leash used in any manner? We haven't seen the wording ligature strangulation anywhere that I've noticed, but I don't know what he was doing. Was he doing something sickening or did he snap? And did Jennifer know any of this? And was she Stephan's lookout? Is that why no roommate knew? Did she, peek around and look out for him and okay, it's okay, put her right there in the car? I don't know. I'm just wondering. These are just speculative thoughts I have with no proof of Jennifer's involvement at all. She claimed she didn't know anything. So anyway, in seeking out further information, the docket and I like to put in a lot of public records requests, so we're not rehashing the same old information. We're not rehashing this that we've seen 1,000 times and discussing the same old data 1,000 times, although we do like to examine it. It's important. We also want to bring you guys new things too. So the docket got this response recently from the Office of the State Attorney explaining the exorbitant cost of such FOIA information regarding Stephan's phone data and much more. And I can only assume they're talking about the Excel spreadsheet, but this is the reply he got, the docket on YouTube. Good afternoon. The requested record contains 38 separate sheets of information. So by them using the word sheets, I really believe they're talking about the Excel spreadsheet. For those of you who know Excel, you know you can open up a bunch of sheets and you can have them going all along the bottom. So maybe that's what they mean. I don't know if those 38 sheets represent 38 separate dates. Could be. It's not really explained. So let's say the So let's say the docket's FOIA was, okay, I see you guys have passed along, mailed on November 19th. You've mailed this digital media number 2, a disc which contains an Excel spreadsheet of Stephan's phone. It's redacted. So if it's already redacted, I don't know. I don't know why they have to redact so much more. Maybe it's only redacted in terms of what the prosecution and defense can see. I don't know, that's confusing. Anyway, if the docket said, okay, I'm FOIAing that Excel spreadsheet, and they're coming back with the requested record contains 38 separate sheets of information. Some of the sheets have thousands of rows of information with numerous columns. So yeah, they sound like they're talking about the spreadsheet here because that has rows and columns. It sounds huge. So 38 separate sheets. I mean, just as an example, I like to look at my Excel spreadsheet. I'm more of a fan of Excel than Google Sheets for some reason. I've worked with it for so long. Back in the day, I think Excel only let us put in like hundreds of rows. I'm trying to remember the exact amount. But now you can put in tons of rows. Let's see where it goes to. Wow. You can put in more than 1 million rows. Wow. I didn't know you could put in that many. So I'm a big fan of Excel, so I think they're talking about Excel. And they're saying some of these sheets have thousands of rows of information with numerous columns, and there are 38 separate sheets. So that is a lot. No wonder they want so much money for this Excel spreadsheet. Due to the volume of the requested record, it is difficult to estimate the total staff time needed to review it for release. I get that. We can issue an invoice for 20 hours at $22.50 per hour and review as many pages as possible with the invoice time. Then issue another invoice to continue reviewing the requested record. So that's where the initial $450 comes in. I guess I was debating if I should ask them, okay, issue this initial invoice for 20 hours times $22.50 per hour. That's how much you're charging us. So that's $450. Issue that invoice, see how many pages you can review. Now that's where it's getting confusing. They're saying we can review as many pages as possible within the invoice time. I don't know if they mean as many sheets of this spreadsheet. Let's say we get one sheet of this data dump from Stephan's phone. We get one sheet reviewed in 20 hours. I'm just guesstimating how much they might be able to do. And then would they turn over that one sheet to us after we pay $450? That's the part I don't know. It's so questionable. Maybe I'll have to ask. They went on and told the docket there could be more than 50,000 pages of information. This is where I'm getting confused. It seems like they stopped talking about sheets and now they're talking about pages of information. Are they just talking about pages of an entire PDF in the entire discovery? You know how Chris Watts' discovery was like something like 1,300 pages? Are they talking about 50,000, more than 50,000 pages of a PDF in that way and not just the Excel spreadsheet? Anyway, it says, and given the nature of the charges, confidential information will likely appear frequently throughout this spreadsheet. Makes sense. Yes, I get that. So now we're talking about a spreadsheet. I don't understand if the spreadsheet represents only Stephan's phone data, dump, text messages, descriptions, or are they describing more in the spreadsheet just to keep the whole case together? They continue, for most requests, we can review 100 pages of records within an hour of staff time. So it's saying this request may require more than 500 hours of staff time to complete and could cost more than $11,250. Please let us know how you would like to proceed with your request. Thank you. I'm kind of understanding it more now. They're saying, look, we can get about 100 pages of records within an hour of staff time reviewed. Okay, so that's just reviewed. That's not even redacted. That's just reviewed. There could be more than 50,000 pages of info. So that's why they're saying this request may require more than 500 hours of staff time, because 500 hours of staff time times 100 pages equals the 50,000 pages of info they could have. So therefore, if they're taking that 500 hours required times $22.50 per hour, that's where they're coming up with more than $11,250. Boy, yeah, I wish if I did have it, if I was like some rich millionaire monetarily. We're all rich in Jesus, thank the Lord. If I had it, yeah, I would dump it on them and say, here, give us what you got. Because what if the Excel spreadsheet contains more compelling information, even more so than what they already found on Jennifer and Stephan's phone? I'm not talking about, I don't want to see any type of CSAM images or stuff like that. I'm talking about text messages, movements, interesting messages, interesting data, that kind of stuff. They told us before, upon reviewing Stephan's cellular phone download, the following was observed. On Monday, February 26, 2024, at 12:12 hours, so it was 12:12, it was just afternoon, a factory reset was done on the phone. And they went through and described it could only be accomplished by literally navigating to the settings options on the phone, tapping general management, swipe and tap reset, the tap factory data reset, and then review the information. They were saying that, look, he didn't do that accidentally. Once reviewing the info is complete, swipe and tap reset. If there's a password on the phone, at this time the person would have to enter their password. They're telling you how many steps Stephan had to go through to reset his phone. Factory reset his phone twice that day. It says this shows that Stephan could not have accidentally reset his phone, as it has nothing to do with a phone update, as he stated during his previous statements made under oath. Another factory reset was done on Stephan's cell phone on Tuesday, February 27th at 000 hours. So exactly at midnight, for some reason, he tried to do another factory reset. That same night, Maddie was reported missing, even though technically it's Tuesday. This would be the time frame of his last statements to law enforcement and before he drove Jennifer's car to St. Cloud that night. Remember, he sneaked out because Jen was supposedly sleeping all this time, sleeping like a baby, I guess, when her baby was missing. She still took her meds, I believe, Monday night and just, slept. Well, Stephan went out to look for Maddie. Also, on Stephan's cell phone was over 1,000 images in a file in his photographs. Most of these photographs are graphic in nature. These images will be described upon reviewing Stephan's Google info. Stephan also searched for that weird, I don't know how to pronounce it, that weird drug, sevoflurane, on 2 different dates. So he searched, this is the stuff they found, of course, by checking his phone, February 12th and February 14th, 2024. And it talks about it being a volatile anesthetic that provides hypnosis, amnesia, all these other conditions during surgical and procedural interventions. It goes on to say this information was obtained by Google. What this drug was he was searching for, it is unknown why Stephan would be searching this item using the search terms of, quote, show up in drug test when he wasn't attempting to get a job or he didn't have any children that were having surgery. They also noted potentially one of the last text exchanges between Jennifer and Stephan Sunday night, the Sunday before Madeline was reported missing. It says, upon reviewing Jennifer's cell phone download, the following was observed. Jennifer would set an alarm for 7:30 a.m. on days that she would bring Madeline to school. There were messages between Jennifer and Stephan on February 25th, 2024, starting at nearly midnight, 23:39 hours, that stated the following. Jennifer texted Stephan, make sure she goes to bed right now. Stephan replies, okay, sweetie, good night. Jennifer replies, good night. Stephan texts Jennifer, she's built her nest and she's settling in now. Jennifer replies, okay, good. So it says those text messages confirm what Jennifer stated during the interview, that Stephan and Maddie were alone in his bedroom prior to her death the following morning. So I read all that to say the type of interesting things that cops got, I'm sure, from Stephan's phone. I'm sure they got more text messages than that, probably, even though that was from Jennifer's phone, whatever they could download from Stephan's phone, just like Nicole Kessinger in the Chris Watts case, when she tried to, break her SIM card and do all this stuff and delete all these text messages. A lot of it was recovered. Chris Watts tried to hide a lot of photos of him and Nicole in that calculator secret app. They were eventually recovered. So now, I'm sure officers, detectives have recovered a lot more than just this. These were highlights so far. What other communications were happening after that factory reset, but before Stephan turned over his phone to police, before police took it? What about the other phone that Chris Sterns, Stephan's father, gave Stephan? I'm sure that phone had interesting activity, maybe interesting text messages. I don't know. Maybe that's what will be in this FOIA, in this big, huge spreadsheet. I don't know if the spreadsheet is a detailed description of the entire, a way to keep the entire discovery under control or figure out what they have, or if this Excel spreadsheet with the 38 sheets is just describing what's on Stephan's cell phone download. It could be just his cell phone download. So at this point, I still don't know if I'm going to ask for an invoice or not. Like I told someone who recently asked me for money, again, I need to be paying off the IRS and Amex and everybody what I owe them. This FOIA-ing thing is a gamble. Just like any business, you have to look at it as gross income minus expenses needs to be a non-negative number for us to keep doing this, for us to keep surviving. And thankfully, you guys watch my YouTube videos for free, and AdSense helps take care of a lot of expenses when YouTube doesn't limit the ads on the videos. And for the people who don't like so many ads, there's always YouTube Premium. People can get that, and I don't even have YouTube Premium. I don't really mind all the ads. I'm used to them. You just like, whatever. It's like a cost of doing business. I understand. We're not millionaires and we can't work for free. Maybe there are millionaires out there who can come on here and cover true crime cases and purchase FOIA information and videos and everything for free and do it all on their own dime without putting any ads anywhere. No matter what, YouTube is going to put the ads in your videos, even if you're not in their program. So that's neither here nor there. But I haven't seen it, is my point. I don't see any true crime person out here buying all the info or dropping nearly 12 grand on Stephan Sterns' case discovery and saying, here guys, here it is. I don't see that. But anyway, plus thank you to my YouTube members and my Patreon members. They also help with funding these body cam videos you guys want to see. For example, I told you guys about the Kim Zolciak and Corey Bierman body cam videos. They've been costing some of them, especially if there are a lot of videos and the cops were there a long time, about $300 per batch. They've been clearing enough to make up for that expense, thankfully, and to take care of the IRS. It's a whole business, when you delve into this and you create your own LLC and you're in this as an independent person, you pay a CPA to try and do everything above board and keep all the taxes correct. In instances where viewers are like, we want this, we want that, sometimes it's just a cost of time. Some of the body cam videos cost nothing, but it still takes us time to literally research, figure out the case, put in the FOIA, put in the request, handle all the data. You need the equipment, you need the space to download the videos, the time to edit them and everything. Like those cops with the Kim and Croy videos I buy, about $300 per batch. They're great at editing. They're great about redacting stuff, and then I go through and further edit them so they'll make sense. And for example, I'm also trying to get Jamie Komorowski's new calls. We'll see how much that costs. It's a matter of tracking down, okay, where is she now? Where does she go? What's that prison's rules? What's that state's rules? It's a lot. So what'll happen in the Sterns case? Well, stuff we paid for months ago will likely get here before long. They're moving through. Last I heard, they were on June. So hopefully pretty soon we'll see some more phone calls. I wrote, they're meandering their way through their requests and fulfilling them. No, I don't mean to be a smart butt, but they've been good. I just think it's, maybe they're just understaffed. I don't know. It takes a long time. And you can verify everything I'm saying. I know some people out there who don't do any FOIAs and don't do any public request records. I've seen people out there on Reddit or different people commenting, you guys can get all this for free. And it's like, no, you can't. You cannot. Like, sure, you can go to the Osceola Clerk website and you can click on whatever they give you and you can click, download a PDF, and it might just be, oh, here's a witness list, but it doesn't actually have the witnesses on there. Or here's a notice of supplemental discovery. We passed along the info of Stephan's cell phone on this disk, but it's not the actual data. It's just a PDF of the activity of what they did. It's just a PDF of, oh, here's what we passed over new in discovery. It's not the actual videos. Like, you can't go to the Osceola Clerk website and download body cam videos. Anyway, you can send in your own FOIAs if you want to verify everything I'm saying and get your own invoices from Florida authorities. See which ones charge you nothing, see which ones charge you thousands. Some entities do charge nothing based on what you're asking, and some apparently charge more than $11,000 to search, and I'm not even sure if that's the redaction cost built in. Like, if I told them, yes, please review 100 pages for me, or please do this 20 hours, whatever, this $450 worth of info. I don't even know if they're saying, okay, that's just the searching. It sounds like they're saying that's just the searching for it. Now, to redact it, we need another 20 hours? That's what's confusing. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on all the behind the scenes stuff in Stephan's cases. The case is obviously voluminous and will take loads of time, and it takes work to get to it all. Now, look, I'm filming this Wednesday, December 11th. So do we really think they're going to be ready? When is his next court case supposed to be? His next hearing is supposed to be? I want to see. I should know it by heart. So they're saying this guy should be ready for a pre-trial hearing on February 12th, 2025. That is only 2 months away, basically, from today almost. I don't see it. And then February 24th, 2025 is supposed to be his jury trial for this huge, nasty case. I doubt it. If they're telling us the stuff they're telling us today, December 11th, about 50,000 pages of data, and they need all this time to just do 100 pages. I don't know. I don't see it. You know, someone commented about, oh, you know, that's just a cash grab for them. So do you think it's a cash grab by the state attorney, or just a way to dissuade us from filling out FOIAs? Or will it legitimately take them that much time and effort to go through this spreadsheet of Stephan's phone data? It really could, because I understand just from manipulating data or downloading data or being a video editor and preferring to do all that stuff myself, because I prefer not to spend money, hundreds and thousands of dollars. I know some people have their own, videos edited by others, but I prefer to save that money when I can to purchase discovery or purchase body cam videos or whatever. And that's why we get so protective over it, so people won't take it and claim they purchased it and lie to their viewers about how they got it and everything. We can always ask for proof. People can show you their invoices on screen. People can show you the email contact on screen with authorities if they've actually filled out their own FOIAs. And those are the type of YouTubers and even mainstream media I really appreciate. Those who go in and just fill out their own public records requests and literally tell you, oh, we got this from the sheriff's office today. I'm learning a lot in the meantime about filling out public records requests. There's this great site called Muckrock. This isn't even a paid advertisement. They have FOIA Fridays every year. This Friday will be their last FOIA Friday discussion of 2024. They said we'll be talking about how to appeal requests with a special focus on the 7A style ongoing investigation exemption. Some places they do turn you down a lot if you're like, oh, that case happened, that's interesting. Karen Huger of the Real Housewives of Potomac. She's going through a big DUI trial. Wouldn't you love to see her body cam videos? Or Justin Timberlake. Wouldn't you love to see what he was saying to the cops when he was all messed up and got arrested? I could go on and on. Wouldn't you love to see when Puff Daddy got arrested? Or, what did that body cam look like? I'm looking at this new guy, the unfortunate guy who felled the United Healthcare CEO, requesting FOIAs on him already and all this stuff. Wouldn't you love to see what happened when they were arrested, what they literally said to officers, how he started shaking when he was caught in that McDonald's and all that? Yeah, we'd love to see those visuals where there's a whole process behind it, and sometimes the cops are like, nope, can't get it, ongoing investigation. Nope, you can't have it. So learning how to deal with that, how to appeal it, how to pay for it, how to get it for free, how to get it. Certain states you have to be, like I was just reading, Kentucky, supposedly you're supposed to be a resident. I know Tennessee is like that too. You're supposed to be a resident of the state in order to get the public records. And of course, we're not residents of these states, many of us. So organizations like Muck Rock can help you around that. It's so much. I mean, they should have a college degree in FOIAs. And I think I might create a super long video on my other channel, body cam videos, because so many people ask me, how do you do it? You seem to get a lot of body cam videos. How do you do it? And I go through and I explain the process, and I want something to just point them towards a video instead of me typing out all this stuff. But I explain the process to them and I try and go through. And some people, you know what I find? Some people just don't want to go through and do all the work. All they want to do is, okay, let me get that from you and I'll go take it and get millions of views. And there's nothing wrong with that per se, when people are kind enough to give you credit, or they're kind enough to tell the truth about where they got it from, or they're kind enough to, that's why I watermark the heck out of everything, a lot of things now. Some I just don't, I just put out there. But that's why it's so critical working so hard behind the scenes. And some people, they just ghost you. They're like, oh, give me those videos. Okay, ha. And then they just ghost you like, I got those from her, But to me, it's like, it's better not to burn bridges. Why not just learn the whole process and we can work together? It could be an ongoing thing, but my whole point is procuring a lot of these body cam videos, discovery info, whatever it is, takes a lot of time, work on a lot of people's parts. Not only the person presenting it, editing the videos, whatever, but also the state's attorney's office, the officers, the sheriff's office, whatever we're dealing with, all these Florida authorities. I really don't mind paying them the money when I have it, because I know it is interesting to you guys. It is one step further in seeing a victim get their justice by saying, okay, what really happened here? What is the truth? So I hope that helps to kind of explain why stuff can take so much time, why there can be such a lag, such a lull in certain cases. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting, I do go on. I'll research all these other cases. Some days are just not filming days for me. I prefer not to jump on and just, do whatever. I'm like, today might be a real research day. Behind the scenes, let me find this 911 call. Let me find this body cam. Let me find this or that, in so many different cases. And then it's a crapshoot of like, okay, reject, reject, reject. Oh, this one made it through. Okay, now we deal with downloading and editing and presenting it in a good way. I hope all of that helps. I'm just not decided what to do about the Sterns case. I don't even know. I mean, of course it's worth it to find out, but I don't even know. There's too many questions up in the air. So that's why I'm not promising, oh, I'm going to go get this invoice and I'm going to pay all this money and I don't even know what we're going to get back. We'll see. That's it. I just wanted to update you guys with we'll see. But it is a fascinating process. And the ultimate goal, of course, is to see Madeline Soto get her justice in the end. To see, that gavel bang, to hear those victim impact statements, to see what the perpetrator is sentenced if he's found guilty. So let's close with Hebrews 3:13 through 14. But continually encourage one another every day, as long as it is called today. And there is an opportunity, so that none of you will be hardened into settled rebellion by the deceitfulness of sin, its cleverness, delusive glamour, and sophistication. For we believers have become partakers of Christ, sharing in all that the Messiah has for us. If only we hold firm our newborn confidence, which originally led us to him until the end. So I was just going through and looking at a lot of the photos they've already released to us in the Sterns case, and looking for stuff I hadn't seen before, and how Stephan Sterns had bought this boosted skateboard type thing, and how he was writing on Reddit about it, and he posted that in 2018. And then I saw the invitation for Maddie's birthday party. It was in 2019, and I was like, oh, how ironic. Jennifer wrote on there, it'll be Maddie's first pool party. So Maddie was turning 8 in 2019, but it was the first time Jennifer all of a sudden decided to have a pool party for her. And I was like, oh my goodness, who else showed up for that party? Because 2019, that would have been just after, the year after or so, she started dating Stephan Sterns. And so all of a sudden that February 2019, oh, Maddie's having her first pool party. Like, I wonder who came up with that idea. And heaven forbid any of little Maddie's friends at a pool party. And, I'm sure Stephan was probably there. And so I'm noticing these things I hadn't noticed before in what they've already released to us. And that's why all these little details are fascinating. It's a big cautionary tale, especially for any vulnerable people out there, vulnerable single moms out there, and some slick guy is trying to worm his way into your lives, and it's like he starts making suggestions. Perhaps they might sound good. I don't know if Stephan made this suggestion, but I found it interesting that, Maddie had her first pool party in 2019. Interesting. After he came into their lives. Was Stephan there? Was it his idea? Was he staring at the other little kids? And this stuff is going through my mind. And all these little red flags can help some other person protect their child. We just went over all those school interviews, almost all of them. We'll see when I get the one I'm missing. And people did not totally recognize the signs until they learned more in hindsight after Stephan was arrested. So I guess it's more of an exercise too in recognizing what could be signs of bad behavior before a child suffers like Maddie suffered. That's the best thing that can come out of this: prevention. Preventing another child to go through what Maddie went through, and at the same token, watching her get her justice by examining what's going on exactly in these court cases, and of course holding everyone's feet to the fire to see him prosecuted if found guilty by a jury of his peers. So I hope all that rambling makes sense, and just to let you guys know where we are, and of course moving on to other cases and seeing when I get good data back that I can really pass on to you that's something different and new and true. That's it. Take care. Thank you so much for watching.